Then in 2004, my colleague Paul Van Helden at Stellenbosch University and I went to the NRF for a joint research grant for a Centre of Excellence. There was a competition for national centres of excellence, and we won, the only one in fact in health sciences at the time. And that set up the final tier before my move here. And so for the last 8 years, I've been involved in co-directing a Centre of Excellence. An incredible opportunity again, because this was a merger between Wits and Stellenbosch in a field in which Stellenbosch is particularly strong. Wits also very strong, but not coordinated and organized at the same level that Stellenbosch was. And so we created a continuum of TB research in which my group, the Wits group, specialized in basic biomedical studies of the bacterium. And then there were the continuum involved work in Stellenbosch that went into the clinical domain. So from biomedical to clinical, we covered our tracks. What's happened now, very exciting development with my move here to UCT, the NRF and the DST, who support these Centres of Excellence program, agreed to create a new node here at UCT. So we are now a tripartite alliance for TB research, which makes a whole lot of sense. We are thin on the ground in this country in all of these fields. We're working on a problem that is arguably the most significant health problem plaguing South Africa. When I say thin on the ground, I need to qualify that and say, you know, in terms of the biomedical research component, we're thin on the ground in this country. We don't have huge numbers of colleagues to collaborate with. TB stands out as quite an exception though, because with developments here in the IIDMM, TB evolved and TB research evolved in the clinical and immunology areas to a formidable strength. I would say it's one of the obvious areas of strength of the IIDMM today. Okay. And this is really thanks to the work of the former director of the IIDMM, Greg Hussey, together with Willem Hanekom, Robert Wilkinson and others, who have built formidable strength in clinical infectious disease research, including TB in the clinical area. The biomedical really is led by Willem, who's worked on the immunology, human immunology of TB. And so what's happened over the years as a result of our Centre of Excellence and IIDMM is that silos of activity of real strength, international recognition, have emerged in the Western Cape, making it actually an obvious place for me to want to make the next stage in my professional development, which is why I came here. Yeah. I think the trick for us is that I've always run a small group, small and focused, and we've been successful in that way. The trick is going to be to collaborate, but in such a way that we maintain our identity and we continue to drive those areas of excellence for which we've received recognition in the past. And so it's going to be challenging, and it's going to involve perhaps some structural changes within the unit. I'm going to be totally reliant on getting senior people, you know, kind of mid-career people who want to come and spend a couple of years and really lead new initiatives and then hopefully spin them out so that they can become independent. I'm very much of the view that research is driven by young people with energy, and you know, I still consider myself young and energetic, but there's a time in which you have to actually put yourself out of business by the people that you're training. And I'm seeing that happening, and I'm only too happy to see that happen, actually, because then I think that we're doing something right. In terms of the vision for the Institute, this is going to be, I'm not ready yet to speak on what my vision is, other than absolutely excellence. Okay? That's what I've stood for in my own personal work. Excellence is what we are about. Mediocrity, there's no place for in this Institute. Becoming the best in Africa and really playing a role continentally, I think, is a key part of what we are doing already and need to continue to do. And another major objective of mine is to build and strengthen ties across the faculties. This is an institute that sits across the science and health sciences faculty already. Its placement here means that there has been a dominance of health sciences involvement, not to say that there is not great molecular medicine and infectious disease research going on elsewhere in the university, particularly in the science faculty. And given my background, again, I really want to strengthen those ties and really make this a place that not only does excellence in research, but serves as the premier site for training postgrads. I've got the view that excellent research is the perfect vehicle for making the best people. TB is a controllable disease. We can manage TB with the existing tools if implemented perfectly. I'm of the view that the tools are not perfect. It's amazing to me that we're still largely dependent on using methodologies that are 120 years old for diagnosing TB. Yes, there have been major advances in the last 10 years on developing new diagnostic modalities for accelerating the rate at which we can diagnose TB. We don't have a good vaccine for TB. We know the deficiencies of the BCG vaccine. Yes, it has an important role in protecting against disseminated forms of TB, particularly TB meningitis in infants, which is why we use it, but it does not work in protecting against adult TB. Documented, known, clear. We need better vaccines. That's underpinned the entire rationale and raison d'etre of the SATV initiative. Drugs. Taking drugs for 6 months is very, very tough. Yes, they work. It's a large combination of drugs, but the most recent drug was 40 years old. There are massive developments in the field of TB drug discovery and development. I myself serve on the board, the scientific advisory board of the Global Alliance for TB Drug Development in New York. Its mission is to develop treatment shortening modalities. We want to shorten TB therapy. You can go down from 6 months to 2 months, it's good. To 1 month, it's great. This is going to revolutionize our ability to deal with a disease that is so intricately associated with social factors. It's a disease ultimately of poverty, and that preys on poverty and social inequity and social disorganization.